you. So it's 11 o'clock and we'll be starting shortly. I'm just trying to make sure that people are muted.
May I suggest that as a host, you mute everybody because it's sure that some people might just leave their mics on.
Yes, you're right. I'll do that. Mute. Okay, so give me a minute.
Hello.
I thought I muted everyone. Guys, give me a minute. Okay. Do not allow participants to mute themselves. Cool. Okay, guys. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. This webinar is being organized by the Association of Nigerian Scholars in America, ANSA, and I will quickly share my screen. Okay, hold on. Okay, like I said, this webinar is being organized by the Association of Nigerian Scholars in America, and the webinar is themed Harnessing the EB2 NIW Immigration Pathway to the US Permanent Residency. My name is Jane Ngozi Agwara, and I am a chemical engineering PhD candidate here in New York, and also one of the founding members of ANSA. So I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. The agenda for today is very simple. We are going to start off by, like I said earlier, this program is organized by ANSA. We are going to first of all start off by welcoming the president, who will give us a brief introduction about ANSA, telling us about ANSA, because I'm sure some of us here, this is our first time attending any event organized by ANSA. So the president will come up and tell us more about ANSA. And I really encourage those of us who are here that are not yet members of ANSA, that after this event, please go to the ANSA website, www.ansaofficial.org, and register to become a member. ANSA is a community of Nigerian students in the US, and we really like to have all of you join. And yeah, then after that, we'll welcome our speaker for today, Damilola Akamo. Damilola is also one of the founding members of ANSA. So he's going to take time walking us through the EB2 NIW process, telling us about the eligibility criteria and other things that we need to know. And after that, we're going to take questions and answer. So I really want to plead with you guys, if you have any question as the discussion is going on, if you have any question, please put it in the chat box. I think it would be easier for us that way if we have the questions in the chat box. At the end of the event, if we have more time, we might allow some of you to unmute yourself and ask questions, but I would really prefer if we do it in the chat box. So as the discussion is going on, any question that pops in your mind, please put it in the chat box and we will attend to it when the time comes. So for now, I would like us to welcome the president of ANSA in the person of Ayodeji Israel Aina to tell us about ANSA. Ayo, are you here? Yes, I will unmute you right now. Wait. There's just so many people coming in and it's hard to keep track. Guys, give me a minute to unmute. Okay. Ayo, you should be able to unmute yourself now. No?
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So welcome everyone to today's webinar. Welcome you to ANSA officially. If this is your first time of joining us. So we're all glad to have you here. So for those who do not know, ANSA stands for Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. Basically, the association was born out of the passion to give back to the community, prospective graduate students, even current students in America who needs a community to lean on, to get resources, to get support for academic growth, for professional development. And we just want to serve as a strong networking channel, just to aid and foster academic growth, provide resources like this webinar, provide other supports, especially to, prospective graduate students who really, have a lot of questions, they have challenges they're facing regarding how to go about the processes. So we made it one of our major goals to, support application and transition process, of students, prospective students, and also when they get to the, to the graduate schools, to the United States, how to settle in, providing a community that can help them, in terms of like, for networking need, also provide like a professional, support, mentorship as needed. So we always want to like, define the association, based on 3 watchwords: connect, network, and develop. So we just want to be a platform where you can connect, with other people, like-minded folks, people of similar interest, people in your field, even professional members who are there to always support in different capacities. So we just want you to see the association as to a place where you can network, if you're here or if you're in Nigeria and need to, come abroad to study. And also, finally, an important point, it's a place where you can develop, right? We have different resources. If you haven't checked our website, answerofficial.org, different resources on there. And we always like have different events, informational sessions like this one, which we think is really, really valuable for not just academic growth, but for professional growth. So we encourage you to, take advantage of these resources, and also, check us out on social media, stay updated. There's going to be a lot of information coming out, which we believe is really going to help the community. Enjoy the webinar, and please ask questions when you can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aya, for that. And I think you didn't mention the ANSA fellowship that was just concluded. Do you want to tell us more about that? Aya. Aya, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
I got unmuted. So so part of the resources again that we have is just, a way to support prospective students, the transition, to support the start of their graduate school application by just providing, support in terms of, payment of application fees. We know this can be difficult at times, when you've, paid for other exams and other tests and everything, and starting to apply to schools might be like a burden, looking for the finance. So I thought, okay, how can we be of support, and how can we, lessen the burden? So we roll out every year fellowship programs, to support as many students as we can. We had a lot of applications this year, and hopefully we're able to support as much as we have the capacity to. So this is, like I said, part of the resources, and we have other things. If you're a current student here, I think most of us on this call might be current students or people who really need, like, close to advancing into professional world. We have also resources as well. Please do check our website again. We keep updating this, with different resources as we go. So you will definitely, be able to take advantage of these resources. Jen, over to you.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Aya, for that. So like he mentioned, we have a lot of resources on our website. Please make sure to check us out. And like I said earlier, if you are yet to register to become a member, please do so. This organization is open to both current and potential students, Nigerian students in the US. So if you are already a student, feel free to register. If you know someone who has the intention of studying in the US, tell them to also register and become a member of ANSA. And make sure to check our website from time to time so that you'll be updated with what we are doing. We have social media handles. We have Facebook, Instagram, Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. Just look us up and follow us so you'll be you'll be up to date with what we do. So right now, I would like to welcome Damilola Akamo to kickstart the presentation. Dami, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for the anchoring, and thank you so much, AY, for the nice introduction of ANSA. I'd like to also thank everyone for joining this webinar series this morning. The major focus of our discussion is actually the EB2 national interest waiver, which is the visa category for non-immigrants to transition from non-immigrant status to the green card holder. Okay. And as Jenna said, my name is Damilola Akamo. I'm a PhD candidate studying energy science and engineering at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I'm also an executive board member of ANSA. Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So the plan is to have maybe like 30 to 40 minutes of presentation, and we have a good time to also provide answers to salient questions that people might have. So we'll talk about the green card, the employment-based green card category, and then we'll focus more on the EB2 NIW. We'll talk about the useful resources and what to do next. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so basically the green card is just an ID, I will call it an identity card, which shows that you're a permanent resident of the United States. So this card gives you the opportunity to stay legally in the United States, and you can also work and enjoy various benefits. I tell people that the green card provides a lot of advantages to the non-immigrant or to the immigrant, as the case may be. You know, we have stability, we have job mobility, there's no travel restrictions, you can enjoy health benefit and the like. So if you look at the slide, the comparison to your right here, you see that there seems to be like a lot of limitation with the visa category, more like the F1 visa, the F2 visa. And when you move to the green card, you see that there are a lot of benefits one can enjoy. And then even before you become a citizen. So this is what this is basically what the green card looks like. I mean, it's just a card, a plastic card that people spend so much time, so much effort to get, but it's worth it at the end, just because of the opportunities that are bound. Yeah, next slide. So to get a green card as a non-immigrant or as an immigrant, there are a lot of routes one can explore. One of them is actually the family-based green card, which is the most common means in which people have explored over time. We also have the employment-based, whereby you have people that have the skills or they are professionals that want to come to the US to settle and work. We also have special immigrants. These are religious workers or the Afghanistan interpreters. We have entrepreneurs, the asylum-based refugee, victim of abuse, maybe sexual abuse, or a victim of human trafficking, and other categories like the diversity visa, lottery, or you being a diplomat. So to the right, we can see a plot here in which we were able to see the amount of visa, green card visa that was issued based on each category. So the employment base was just about 14% that was given out. I think last year we had the highest EB2 or the green card issued under the employment base. I think about 287,000 green card was issued in the last fiscal year, fiscal year 2022. And for fiscal year 2023, the USCIS has estimated that about 197,000 green card will be issued. So it is lesser this year because last year we had double of what was usually issued because of the carryovers due to family-based surplus family-based green card that was made available. So hopefully people can also lash into the opportunity that is available for this year and grab their own copy of the green card. Okay, so our major subject of interest today is actually the employment-based green card, which is the I-140 immigrant petition. Okay, Yeah. So when we talk about we getting the green card, what does it really entail? What are the steps that we need to take, right? Say I'm on F1 or I'm on H1B, which is a non-immigrant visa. How do I transition from F1 to the green card? What are the steps that are involved? The first one is actually that now, if I'm on F1, for instance, and I got a job, I need, say for instance, I need an employer to sponsor my green card. The first thing the employer has to do is to file the PEM labor certification, right? Then you have to consider your prevailing wage. You have to consider the recruitment period to be sure that there are no U.S. citizens that are also vying for the same position. They just want to make sure that they protect their own the citizens too. So this PEM labor certification process might be a lengthy one. I mean, it takes time before it gets approved, due to the whole proceedings. As I said, it's actually a laborious proceeding. So if they approve your PEM labor certification, the next thing you want to do is to then file I-140 immigrant petition. And after you file the I-140 immigrant petition, they scrutinize it, they review it. If it is good, they said, okay, now we grant you the I-140 immigrant petition, which then you can proceed to adjust your status using the I-485 adjustment of status and application for green card. So some people also file the work permit, which is the I-765 with it. They also file the advanced payroll, travel document, which is the I-131 with it. So if they check and then they say, oh, this is fine enough, we are going to give you the green card, then you become a permanent resident of the United States. But this process, as I said, takes a longer time. So what we want to do with the EB2 NIW discussion is to say that, see, we want to jump stage one. We want to take stage one out of the way. So we just move straight to stage two. So that's what the EB2 NIW can do for you. You can seek waiver that they shouldn't consider PEM certification for you. So you can move straight to stage two, stage three, and then you complete the whole process. So that's what our discussion will be about today. Okay, can you move to the next slide? Thank you. So here we're going to talk about the employment-based green card itself. There are a couple of them. EB1A, EB1B, EB1C, according to. So I call it you line up according to your size, right? So the EB1A is showing that no, this one is already at the top of the field, right? It's an Indian with an extraordinary ability in the science, athletics, someone that is already at the top of the field. Say, for instance, maybe in the athletics, if you want to talk about the 110-meter hurdle today, you're going to talk about Toby Amusan. She's already at the top of, her field. She's qualified to actually get the EB1A, or a scientist that has won the Nobel Prize, for instance, Nobel Prize in chemistry. That kind of person is already qualified, is already at the top of the field. So the criteria to judge this kind of a petition is actually very strict. So when you move to EB1B, you talk about professors and researchers in the field, but you talk about the professors and researchers, they don't require labor certification too, but they require that you have a full-time job offer with you. EB1C focus more on the managers and executives. So, and EB2 regular. Yeah, so so the EB2 visa actually is in two forms. The EB2 regular, meaning that you need a company to file for you, right? You need a company to sponsor you. So you need the labor certification, number one. Then you also need a full-time job offer, number two. So that makes it a longer process. But now the EB2 NIW can take away the requirement for labor certification, can also take away the requirement for full-time job offer. So that is why I feel that it is actually a faster route to getting the permanent residency in the United States. The EB3 are just for skilled workers, professionals. Of course, you need the labor certification and full-time job offers and the rest. Okay. So our focus today is EB2 NIW. Don't forget that. So now, let's begin to look at what the EB2 NIW is about. So the EB2 NIW is actually, as you can see, is the second preference employment-based immigration category after EB1. And now in the EB2 NIW, what we are seeking is that, we are telling the USCIS or the US government that I'm an alien that is doing something of interest to the United States, and my work has significant impact on the United States. So because of that, you need to waive this laborious proceeding of this labor certification for me. So if you waive it for me, I'm going to serve the interest of the United States with my work. So that's what we are trying to do. That is the basic thing we are trying to do with the NIW. One thing you should take notes from my discussion is that I've been focusing more on the aliens work, on the aliens proposed endeavor, which is the backbone of your petition. So the job or the endeavor you also want to do must qualify for the national interest waiver, meaning that USAID must they consider a lot of factors. We see some of the fees that they consider. Then for you to be granted the national interest waiver, they look at your track record. They must be sure that you have exceptional ability, that you're actually on track and what you do will actually benefit the nation. So those are critical things to consider. I would say that it's actually a merit-based process. Okay. So various advantages of the NIW is that, one, you can self-petition. You don't need any employer to petition for you because the EB2 NIW does not require labor certification. Neither does it require you to have a full-time job offer before you can apply. So you can also add your dependents. I mean, maybe if you're married, you have wife and children, they can also benefit from this EB2 NIW path to green card. There's no lengthy labor certification. I mean, that is a major thing to consider. And another thing that the green card is not tied to one employer, because there's no employer that is sponsoring you. It's a self-sponsored process. Okay. So now we should talk about the eligibility. Like, how do I know that I'm eligible for the EB2 NIW? The first thing I tell people is your academic degree. Like the USAI says that you must have an advanced degree. When you look at an advanced degree, it's actually have a master's or a PhD in the field of your proposed endeavor. Let me put it that way. You can't say that you have a master's degree in, say, for instance, agric science or maybe agric economics, and then you want to propose something in material science. There are two different fields, so it doesn't really work that way. The advanced degree that you have must be related to the field of your proposed endeavor. So if you don't even have an advanced degree, the law still says that you can have a bachelor's with 5 full years of work experience. I mean, continuous work experience. So you get a letter from your employer, to show as proof. Then another thing is, apart from this degree, you must also show proof of exceptional ability. I tell people this is not for scientists alone. So anybody can show exceptional ability with what they've done in the past or what they are doing currently. And the third one, which I also want to highlight, is that you must fulfill the 3 criteria in the NIW framework. So we'll talk about those 3 criteria in the long run. So another thing to consider, which is very important, is what I've noted, that if you have a foreign degree in Nigeria, say for instance, is relevant here. You can use your foreign degree as a proof that you have an advanced degree, but you must evaluate that degree to the US equivalent using maybe WES or other evaluation services. I've seen a lot of people that have advanced degree and then they apply without even evaluation. They got RFE because the law says that you must evaluate to make sure that it is in the US equivalent degree. All right. Okay. Next slide, please. So now let's look at the 3 criteria of the national interest waiver framework. So initially, there is this law which they call the New York Department of Transportation law, which is the old rule that governs the I-140, like the EB2 NIW in the past, right? This law is saying that what you are doing must be of substantial intrinsic merit to the United States. Fine, that is good. Number 2, it also says that you must show that you are well positioned to push it forward. Good. Then the third one, which makes it very tough for people, is that you must then show that what you are doing is very, very, very critical, such that if they don't consider it, it's going to adversely affect the national interest of the United States. So it was really tough for people to argue in the time past. But during the Obama's administration, I think December 2016, they revamped the whole the whole program, and then they came out with these three major prongs of the NIW, which falls under the matter of Danasa. So one of them says that you must, so the foreign national proposed endeavor must have substantial merit and national importance to the United States. So you must argue that your work is of substantial merit and national importance to the United States. Number two, it's also talking about you, that you are well positioned to advance that proposed endeavor you have talked about. Then number three, that on balance, it will be beneficial for the US to waive the job offer and labor certification procedure. So if you are able to argue for these three prongs, then you are going to get an approval. If you argue for two, I've seen people that argue for only two, leaving one out, they will surely get RFE because the reviewer is going to challenge the third prong that you didn't argue for. So it is important to argue strongly for these three prongs to get an approval from USCIS. Next slide, please. So now, when we talk about substantial merit and national importance, what do I need to do? How do I argue for that? So basically, I should say this again, that the EB2 NIW process is actually an evidence-based process, meaning that I must show evidence for everything I'm saying, right? If I say that my work is of substantial merit and national importance to the United States, how do I prove that? I can prove that in various forms. I can say that my work will improve the energy security of the United States, maybe because I'm doing a research related to energy storage. So you find documents to prove that, maybe government-based documents or respected articles out there in the field to show that truly your work is of substantial merit and national importance to the United States. I listed here that there are a lot of fields that one can use to show that, which are important to the US. I mean, cybersecurity, material research, entertainment, nanotechnology, chemistry, let me even say sports too. I mean, media and communications, culture, as much as you can argue, don't forget, you must argue for the substantial merit of your work to the United States. So you want to also speak in clear terms. I mean, you don't want to be using big terms to speak to to these people because they are, I mean, they are just normal people like you and me. You don't have to bug them with all our jargons in our scientific or respective fields. Next slide, please. I can move to the next slide.
Please give me a minute.
Okay.
I'm experiencing it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So now the point two now, the second point is that I must then show that I'm well positioned to advance my proposed endeavor. So this is focusing on me as the petitioner, right? The first prong focuses on my work. Now, if I want to show that I'm well positioned for my to advance my proposed endeavor, I can show that using various things, that I've done. I mean, my track record, over time, to show that I actually have what it takes to push to advance my field. One of them might actually be publications, my citations, maybe my awards, my research achievements, scholarships, fellowships, patents, or if you're a member of a merit-based professional association, your presentation in various conferences, if you have judged or reviewed the work of others, if you have given invited talks, if you have won grant or funding, or you are able to also get recommendation letters from distinguished experts in your field. I mean, so I tell people, if you want to get a recommendation letter, don't just focus on people that you have worked with alone. You also want to focus on those that can say, that you have not worked with, but they can give an independent an impartial review about you. Because if you pick all the people that you have worked with, I mean, like, to me, there's already a bias. I mean, anybody that I've worked with will not say anything bad about me, right? They always want to hype me and show that I'm actually qualified. So because of that bias, I prefer to even have independent people to talk about me. I mean, independent people that we've not worked with, we don't share affiliation, to talk about my work and how it is important to the United States, right? So next slide.
Okay, please, I'm going to take a minute or two break. If you can, I need to share this on YouTube, so Everyone,
Okay.
please bear with me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute or two.
Okay. Yeah, so let me just continue to talk, So on the second front, which we are talking about, I mean, you can show this in various ways. So you don't want to just limit yourself. You can talk about your educational background. You can talk about the work you've done, maybe some of your projects. I like to use projects, projects that are relevant to your proposed endeavor. You can give good project summary. You can show that no people are citing your work. You can show that people are downloading your work. You can you know also emphasize expert testimony, that see, this professor said this about me, this professor said that about my work, and how I've been able to advance my work. So all those actually culminate to what becomes big. I mean, even volunteering experience, right? Say for instance, you were part of those that contributed to mentoring STEM students in high school, maybe in the US high school. Yeah, that is a big deal, because you are already championing you're already championing the advancement of STEM education in the United States. So you are helping to develop future scientists. So all those things count. They play a big role. They play a very big role in what we are doing. So I feel that uh, we should focus on that. Then on the third front, the third front is actually focusing on the fact that on balance, it to be well to be in the interest of the United States to waive labor certification for you. So on that third front, I mean, you can also focus on the fact that, see, I've done a lot of this, I've done that in my field, and I'm advancing my field. So you can focus on your skill sets to argue for that. You can also say that, even if there are a lot of US citizens that are available, because of my exceptional ability, I can still, provide good benefit to the United States. So therefore, they should still waive the labor certification for me. Another way to also show this is to use maybe the Department of Labor statistics. They usually show the statistics. I mean, the future outlook of each profession. Maybe in your own field, for instance, that in the next 5 years, your field is going to have like maybe 10% increase in jobs. I mean, in job opening. So it shows that more like there's going to be more opening for jobs. So because of that positive future outlook, they should consider you. They should consider you and waive the labor certification. And even if your field, maybe for instance, you're in the cybersecurity field. Now, cybersecurity field, according to CyberSeek, has about more than 500,000 job opening right now in the United States, and there are no people to fill in this gap. So there's a major need for cybersecurity experts in the United States. So that alone you can use to argue that, see, US has an urgent need. You must pick me and waive this labor certification so that I can fill this urgent need. So all these things are what you can use to argue for for your case. Yeah. So we can move on, Jay. I think I've actually talked on step 3. Yeah, I've talked about that already. So now, previously I told you about the proposed endeavor. Like, you've been wondering, what is proposed endeavor? What is proposed endeavor? The proposed endeavor is actually the cross of your petition. I mean, if your proposed endeavor, if you say you want to do this, you want to do that, and you don't even you don't even spell out your proposed endeavor, it becomes a critical challenge, right? So now I try as much as possible to give a simple template for people to follow. Don't make it complex and state a lot of things that you cannot even finish within, that can never finish in your lifetime. So just make it simple and short, right? So here I was talking about the fact that I gave a template here that you focus on your skill sets, you focus on what you want to do, or the approach you want to use, and what field will the approach be addressing, and then the impact, or the impact of your work to what sector will it benefit in the United States. So say for instance, now I'm a nanomaterial researcher, right? My proposed endeavor is actually to build on my extensive experience with my skill set now: advanced material synthesis, chemical analysis, and simulation techniques, right? Those are my skill set. To do what? To develop novel nanomaterials, right? For what topic will it be addressing? For use in semiconductor device fabrication. Which application will it be relevant in? Electronics, energy storage, and biomedicine. So these are critical sectors of the United States. I mean, for United States to still retain its relevance, they have to consider all these sectors. So this is simply what can constitute your proposed endeavor as a nanomaterial researcher, and you can build on this, or you can build your case on this. All right. So now let's move to the next slide. So now, I began to talk about the petition in depth now. Say I'm still a nanomaterial researcher, right? I want to prove that I am qualified for this benefit. The first thing I have to show is my advanced degree, all right? My BS or my PhD, or I show a bachelor's degree with 5 years of work experience, all right? So after doing that, the next step is then begin to uh, argue for my exceptional ability. How can I argue for my exceptional ability? I can still argue with my advanced degree. I can get letter of recommendations from distinguished experts. I can show award, scholarship, and the likes. Now, the next thing again is to then argue for the 3 prongs of the NIW framework, right? First thing is substantial merit and national importance of my proposed endeavor. I can use, the current Chip and Science Act that was passed, right? The $50 billion historic bill that was passed by the US government to ensure that chip production and advanced manufacturing of semiconductors is brought back to the United States for the US to maintain its relevance. That alone shows that the US is actually concerned about semiconductor, about my field. They are crazy about my field. All right. I can also use government articles to back it up. I mean, you can use maybe Biden's executive orders. You can use Congress bills that was passed, on the floor, or relevant data from government websites or government agencies. I can also show that, see, the U.S. Department of Energy is actually funding my research, so consider me. That alone is a good thing to show. Then the next front is to show that I'm well positioned to advance my proposed endeavor. Of course, I have an advanced degree, extensive educational background. That is good. I have scholarships. I have awards. I've shown success in past projects that are relevant to my proposed endeavor. I like that a lot. That is one way to show that, truly I understand my proposed endeavor, and I'm already contributing to the field of my proposed endeavor. Then another thing I also like, which I highlighted, is the plan for future work, to show that truly I have a good plan, to advance my proposed endeavor. Like, I already have some mapped out plan that I want to execute. All right. Then you can also use testimonials from experts in the field to back that up. Then the third one is actually the fact that the US should waive the labor certification because it is beneficial to the national interest of the country. So I can use my skills, my knowledge, my expertise. Recommendation letters too can be used there. And then I can also talk about the need for more experts in the field, because for US to maintain its relevance in semiconductor industry, they need to hire more experts. There's also shortage of experts too in that light. And the outlook for semiconductor industry in the United States is very bright. I mean, extremely bright, because they're going to establish more factories in Ohio. Intel is going to build more factories. I think Qualcomm is going to put more money into semiconductor investment in the next 5 years. All those can be used to argue for why you should stay, because they will need more people to work. So it is important for them to consider you. All right. So we can move to the next slide. So now, for the application proceeding, after you argue for all those in your petition letter, the next thing is, you want to draft the petition, which is all that we've said. All that we've said in the in the previous slide, we hope we be in your petition letter. I mean, it's going to be a strong letter, very strong statement written by you, to convince the reviewer. After that, you have to fill the immigration form, I-140 and ETA 90894 form, which is more like the Department of Labor forms that you fill. Then you gather and attach all supporting evidence with your package. I mean, everything you said you did, you must provide evidence for them. If you don't provide evidence for them, it becomes a challenge. Don't forget I said that this process is actually an evidence-based process. So you have to present evidence for everything. Then the fee for this is actually $700 for the I-140. So I used money order during my time. I mean, some people use the credit card to pay. So whichever way, just make sure you are paying $700. Don't pay less, because if you pay less, your case will be rejected straight. So you have to refile again. Time will be wasted. Then you send your package, paper-based. You print each package out. So each document, you print them out, and then you send it to the USCIS mailing address. Don't forget, don't send original copies, because everything you send will not be sent back. So you are sending photocopies of each of these documents, right? Then the processing time has really varied this period. Some have gotten approved within 2 months. Some have stayed for more than a year before they got approved. Some have gotten approved within 6 months. So it varies, and that's why I put that duration there. Then after approval, you can then proceed to file for I-485, which is the adjustment of status. I assume that you are not doing concurrent application. If you are doing concurrent application, it means you are submitting I-140 and I-485 at the same time. But for me, I don't really advise that, because once you do that, you're already saying that, see, I want to declare immigration intent, and you might not be able to hold on to your F1 status again if you are a student. So I advise that people do one step at a time. If there is no uh, uh, time constraint on you, I mean, it's better to do it one step at a time. Then after you get the I-485 sent to them, they call you for biometrics. Maybe they might call you for interview or not. They've been waiving interview lately. So after that, they approved, and then you get your green card. You become a permanent resident of the United States. Yeah. Okay, next slide. So these are the various supporting documents that we talked about. Your petition letter for I-140, ETA 9089, then to get in notification, the fees, the recommendation letters, publication, everything. I mean, your degree certificate and transcript, you put it there. And if you get a foreign degree, I'm saying it again, make sure you evaluate your degree, or your certificate, as the case may be. Then show government articles, show your CV, your Google Scholar profile, and the likes, and maybe the immigration documents too. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so here, a lot of people argue, like, should I do it myself? Should I use attorney? I'm like, go for whatever means you feel you might be able to do. Some people are excellent writers, so they can argue for themselves. For me, I like to argue for myself. I can write and do that. So I did the whole process myself. I mean, I didn't consider attorney. Some people cannot argue for themselves, and they don't have time to even sit down with this whole process, because it's a very tedious process. So if you have to look at it, you can use an attorney. The attorney is fast. They have a lot of experience with it. They can help you file it within a few weeks or months. And if there's any issue, they can always respond back with discussion of your RFE, and they can prepare you for interview, as the case may be. The only disadvantage is that you have to pay higher fee. I mean, the cheapest I've seen so far lately is around $4,000. I mean, we are students, so I know how it can be, dropping $4,000. And there are some time that you can do yourself. I mean, you learn through the whole process. I mean, I've gotten a lot of experience doing it myself, and even helping some of my colleagues with it, right? The process is very laborious, I must say. It's tedious. So, and you can be prone to mistake if you don't have good experience with it. So it's always good, if you want to do it yourself, still make sure that you have folks that have gotten approved, that have gone through the whole process by themselves to guide you through the process. Don't just stay isolated and think you want to do everything. You might be missing the major details that will cost you RFE in the long run. Okay. So next slide. So I was talking about RFE the other time. So RFE is actually request for evidence. So request for evidence, meaning that when you submit your application and they feel that, oh, you have not provided enough evidence or convincing proof that you deserve this benefit, they're going to issue you an RFE requesting for more evidence. So the RFE is not actually a denial. It's just for you to give them more documents and write convincingly to get the approval. And a lot of reasons for this might be because of insufficient evidence, might be because that you lack, acceptable recommendation letter. Some people write recommendation letter, see they want to apply for a job. I mean, no, there is a difference between that kind of application and this kind of application. So there's a unique way in which you write the recommendation letter. So you want to make sure that that is important. Then petition too must be strongly worded. I mean, you must show that you can convince somebody, and don't don't submit a disorganized document. Make sure that all the documents are well arranged. You can even use a sticky tab to mark out each of them. I mean, to label them exhibit 1, exhibit 2, exhibit 3, so that it's easy for your reviewer to find your documents, because it's a heap of documents that you are submitting. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so a lot of myths about the whole EB2 NIW thing, like, oh, you need to get a PhD before you can apply. That is not true. Oh, you need employment sponsorship. That is not true. Job offer. No. You can't add your wife. You can't add your children. No, that is not true. I mean, that is not true. So only people that are in STEM that can do this thing, no, you must be a Nobel laureate. No. That's not true. A lot of fields can actually argue for this. Only those with publication and citations must get this thing. No, that's not true. Though if you have publication and citation, I mean, it boosts your chances, all right? But that is not the only way to show that you have exceptional ability. So I think most lawyers, I mean, attorneys out there, they want you to have paper citations, because that is one way in which they argue strongly for you. But even without those, you can actually file. I've seen people with just one citation and they got approved. Some with no papers, they got approved. It depends on how you can maximize or amplify your strength and then diminish your weakness, or even silence it out of this application. So those are, then you have to be in the US to apply. That's not true. I've seen people that have applied from South Africa, right? And then they got approved. All they just have to do now is to do the consular processing to get the green card to the United States. So if people outside can even apply, how much more we that are already in the United States? So let's take hold of this opportunity, right? So next slide. So these are various useful resources that are provided. The lawyers do case evaluation. They can get your CV and then they help you evaluate your case to know maybe maybe you are already set to apply, or if you still need to do more. But I must say that this is not a casting stone. When I was trying to apply, then I think I reached out to about 5 lawyers. 2 of them said I should still wait. 3 said, yeah, I'm good to go, right? So it depends. Lawyer might say that you should wait, and you might just decide to just go ahead. So just try to use these lawyers. I think they have free evaluation. They can submit your CV and then they evaluate your profile for you. Then the various USCIS relevant links to I put here. So this first one that you are saying, the previous EB2 I like this one because it shows you the previous decisions they made on various cases, how they've been able to decide maybe what someone lacked, what this one did not show. Possibly someone was trying to claim that it's going to improve the field in mathematics, it's going to improve the mathematics field, whereas he has a master's in maybe agric economics. I don't know why I'm using agric economics. So those are 2 different fields, right? So that kind of person might get RFE or get denied. So I like people to check that particular link out. Then you can also use the USIS, the second link, to check for the processing time in each center. The Texas and Nebraska centers are the only ones that are adjudicating the EB2 NIW cases. So you can check those. Then there are also YouTube links out there. So yeah. Next slide, please. So so what do you want to do next, right? The next thing to do is, first, if you have not applied, you want to apply, do a critical evaluation of yourself and your accomplishments. So I divided this into 3 steps. First step is, what is my position in my field right now? I mean, where am I in the field right now? Okay, I've been able to gather these skill sets. I've been able to know this. This is my job role. This is what I'm doing. So if I know that, okay, the next step is, okay, how have I contributed to my field? What is my contribution to the field? Have I published papers? Have I gotten citations? Have people used my work? Have I gotten patents? I want to note all those down. The third one is, what is my qualification, right? Do I have a higher remuneration in the field? Have I contributed to maybe conference proceedings? Am I a member of professional societies? All those things you have to list down. Then you can use a lawyer to evaluate you can use a lawyer to actually do a free evaluation. Once you do that, start compiling your documents. I recall during my time, I opened a folder for all these things. So I was saving them in my computer for the time I was going to file. So because this, as I said, is a very laborious, very, very tedious process. You want to make sure that you keep a systematic procedure of saving your document, of arranging things. If you are not an organized person, I mean, you're going to have problem, filing this petition by yourself. Then if you think you are ready, go for it. If you are not ready, then take your time to build your profile, publish some more, uh, do volunteering in a relevant events in your field, go for internships and apply for job or join a honorary professional society in your field. Then plan towards applying and then you get approved, right? Okay. So that's the end of the presentation. If you need anything, I mean, if you need me to answer any question, I have my mail there, and then I have my LinkedIn profile up there. So thank you so much for listening to my TED talk.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Dami. Guys, I know we are muted, but if you can put the clap reaction to really appreciate Dami for this resourceful information he has shared with us today. Thank you so much, Dami. We really, really appreciate this. And I'm pretty sure it's going to help a lot of us. It's going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So since we still have some time, I'm going to go straight to the question. So I'm going to do, some people are sending to everyone, while some are sending directly to me. So I'm going to read the question, and Dami, if it's something that is straightforward, I can just answer it. But if it's, I don't have experience in this, so if it's something that requires you to answer, please you answer. Okay. So someone said, can I apply from any state? I'm in Maryland.
Of course, we are in the United States, so you can apply anywhere.
Okay.
Even if you're outside the United States, you can still apply, right?
Okay. All right. Someone says, can you share the link? So this video is being recorded. After this, we're going to share it on our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, social media platforms. So please look us up and subscribe to our channels, follow us on Instagram. We do this type of events every once in a while. So if you are following us on YouTube or Facebook, you'll be notified when we have events like this. So after this event, you're going to share this there. And someone is asking for the link. You can get everything when you watch the video again. All right, someone said, can we get the video? Yes. When is the time to start this process as a PhD student? Dami, when is the best time?
Yeah, so it actually depends, right? The first thing I said is that you need an advanced degree. So maybe a master's, at least if you have a master's and you feel that you've gotten the necessary documents, you've gotten the necessary stuff that your profile requires, why not go for it? I mean, I'm still in the PhD program and I applied because I know that, yes, I was ready for it. I went for it. I got approved. So that is just it. Master students are getting approved. I mean, those with masters, only master's degree are getting approved. So it doesn't have to be that you need to finish your PhD before you get approved. Once you feel that your profile is good enough, you have a master's degree, go for it.
Okay, thank you. And by your profile being good enough, that means you did a good job listing things that you need. So if you feel like you didn't take enough notes, you can always come back to rewatch this video. So someone said, and how do I join, please? I am just getting to know about the association. Oh my God. So this is Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. We've been in existence since 2020. So please go to www.answerofficial.org. Dami or any Ayo, can you please put the link on the chat box so people know what link to follow and become a member of Answer? Someone said, for someone who has compromised his SSN, meaning he worked with his SSN, is he eligible to apply for the EB2 NIW?
I'm actually not an immigration attorney. I won't be able to say much about that. I mean, you can discuss that with your attorney, but I know that once you still have your F1 status intact, for sure, you can apply. If you are still on F1, why not? You are still a non-immigrant, so you can apply. So the other complexity, I can't really say much about that. You need to talk to an immigration attorney about that if necessary. I don't have any advice, in that light. But all I know is F1. F1. If you are still on F1, yeah, you can go for it.
Okay, and you don't from what we that means you don't like need to pay the attorney the whole, I think you said 4,000. I think you can just pay for consultation if you are worried about whether you're qualified or not. Just look them up, pay for consultation and talk with them, and just tell them your case so they can tell you. Okay, so for application, can you do it yourself? Okay, he talked about it. He said if you're comfortable doing it yourself, do it. If you're not, get a lawyer. I am currently on my PhD and I got in directly from bachelor's, no master's. Can I apply without the master's? Is 5 years teaching assistant experience enough work experience? Of course, Dami did not get a master's before. Dami, did you get a master's?
I actually got a master's.
Oh my God, sorry.
It is the law. The law says that you should show that you have advanced degree. So I got a master's before.
Why do your PhD?
Yes, why didn't the PhD?
Okay.
I got a master's.
Yeah, so I think what the person is asking, like, I mean, for me, I know I did bachelor's and I went straight to PhD. I think that's the same thing you did, Dami, right?
Yes, that was the same thing I did. But when I knew that I was going to apply for this thing, right?
You got a master's.
I had to go get a master's. So, and the person was saying that 5 full years of teaching assistantship. Don't forget, that's not 5 full years, because the teaching assistantship we are doing as a PhD student is 20 hours in a week. So it's not a full-time job.
Oh.
So these are the ramifications you have to consider. So even if you do 5 years of teaching assistant, it's not 5 full years of work experience, because you've been doing 20 hours per week as an F1 student, right? So it doesn't count. So you need a master's in that light. So.
Okay, just to add to that about the master's thing, I found out recently that a lot of people don't know you can get a master's degree while doing your PhD. Like for me in my school, after I did my candidacy exam, they asked if I wanted to get a master's. Of course, I'm going to get my PhD, but I said, yes, why not? So I got my master's certificate. And when I told some of my colleagues, they were surprised. They didn't know that you can actually collect. They were like, since you're doing a PhD, didn't know you can also get a master's. Definitely you can do that. So just talk to your program coordinator and find out how they do. They can just give you the master's certificate and you have it with you just in case you need it for something like this or anything in the future. So someone says, please, how can I connect to answer on YouTube and Facebook? Search Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. That's the full name of answer. Will you paste the recording? Yes, I will. One more question. Please, how can I get the link? Okay, everybody's talking about the link. We're definitely going to share it on our social media platforms. In arguing for point one, Dami, do you only have to be a researcher, or could you make this request while strictly looking to find a job as a senior or expert professional?
Yeah, so prompt one is actually talking about your work and the importance to the United States. I mean, you don't have to be a researcher before you can argue that, right? I can talk about the need for healthcare in the United States without even being a researcher in the field, right? So it depends on how you can, check for government articles, maybe relevant articles out there that talks about the need of your work to the United States. That is what you need to argue for prompt one. In fact, it doesn't really have to do about you. It's about your work. All right.
Okay. Next question, must the awards and scholarship you get all be given in the US?
No, of course. Anywhere you get awards, so far it shows your exceptional ability. Exceptional ability is not location based. All right.
Okay, this one says, how long does this process usually take? When is the best time to start as a new F1 visa student? Can you use your master's thesis to apply for NIW? I think we've answered some of the questions.
Yeah, I've answered them. I've said it that the duration these days is around 2 months, approximately 2 months to 1 year, depending on USCIS. And if you have a master's degree, you're not using master's thesis. Very important. Master's degree and transcript. That is what you are using to apply. Right. So master's thesis is just a document to show that you are well positioned to advance your proposed endeavor. So I like to follow the law to the letter, so we don't make any wrong assumption or make any mistake in the process. The law says advanced degree. That's what you need. All right. So if you have that and you feel that you are well positioned to advance your proposed endeavor, please go ahead and file.
What do you mean by independent recommender? Can you give an example of someone who fits into this bracket?
Yeah, I've said that earlier. Like, independent recommender is actually maybe someone that you've not worked with, but they know you based on your work. Say maybe I went to a conference to present, someone listened to my presentation, he liked it, we got connected, right? That kind of person can be an independent recommender. We've not worked together, but he was able to talk on the importance of my work and how I was able to show dexterity in my presentation. So that's an independent recommender.
Okay. If I have a master's degree, do I still need to include my bachelor's degree?
Of course, you can just include that, but what the law says is advanced degree, right? You can put your bachelor's. While I was filing, I put both actually.
Okay. So this says, greeting answer. I'm one of the beneficiaries of the 2021 scholarship standardized test. I had my exams this year and it was successful with good grades. I'm sincerely grateful to this body. We appreciate that. I got band 7 in my IELTS. However, some schools I'm applying to require that I attended documented evidence for the sponsorship. Later headed, I have sent an okay. All right, will this person please, I don't know when you sent the email. Can you please send us another email and we'll attend to you? This is not regarding this event. It's about the answer scholarship last year. Please send another email. If you can do it today, we'll get back to you. May probably got lost in the multiple of emails we have. Great information. Please, did the speaker go? Okay, now we're going to skip this. Please, how can I register? I'm already studying the US. Please go to www.answerofficial.org. So I've gone through the question. I'm going to start from the recent ones now. It says, do I need to collect recommendation letters from my recommenders and send hard copies along with my NIW application?
Yeah, I've said it. Anything you are sending to USCIS is actually hard copy. So you will write the recommendation, they sign it, or they write it, they sign, and then you print it out as a hard copy recommendation letter. That's what you attach to your evidence. It's an evidence, right? And then you send it to them.
Okay, can you speak about how those in Nigeria can apply?
Yeah, basically, you see the same process, only that you have to, yeah, basically the same process. After they approve your I-140, then you then do consular processing. You have to deal with the embassy in Nigeria to apply. But as I said, the same process that we talked about is what the Nigerians too will do. They argue for
Okay,
all these things and send their documents.
okay. If my program of study allows me to be interdisciplinary and I have published on many different topics, example, energy, food system, flooding, does this affect my case in arguing about specific contribution?
Of course, you can always find one major area that you want to do, or one major area that ties everything together and talks, and you focus on it. In the whole discussion that you are saying, might just be maybe materials that ties everything together, right? Like, okay,
Okay.
materials that are relevant for energy storage, relevant for this, or water treatment, you just find one piece that ties them all together, and you argue for that.
Okay. Can you speak about the ramifications of the Eagles Act on the EB2 NIW process timeline?
Yeah, I like that. So that's one major law that they want to pass now. Initially we usually have like 7% of the visa allotted to each country, right? And the Chinese and the Indians have had these issues of serious backlog. The US is trying to solve that. So they want to make the green card process like equal opportunity, and say maybe 100% green card, like we have 100,000 green card to be given, they are only going to retain 30% for the rest of the world. I mean, without India and China, and the 70% of the green card will then be you have to fight for your own space. I mean, it's kind of tough because you have both Indians and China, with high populations already. So I mean, it's a little bit tough if we have to look at it. For me, I won't think it's a favorable bill for the rest of the world. I mean, without India and China now. But the good thing is they're not just going to enact it now. It's a phase by phase thing. I think it's going to happen between now and the next 9 years. So if you can do whatever you need to do to get your green card as soon as possible, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. If I am doing PhD direct and I don't have master's degree, do I have to finish before applying, or I can apply my third year in PhD? I think we've answered this. Just when you think you are qualified, you have like a good portfolio to study application. Am I right?
Yeah, of course. But what the person is saying, they don't give a master's. If they don't give, like my program now, they don't give masters in my program too. I went to another department and I took their coursework to get the masters because I needed
Really?
it. All right. Yeah. That was what I did.
Hmm.
So I was doing both masters and PhD at the same time concurrently. So it's just because I needed it. I mean, and I was able to get it.
Okay. Is my bachelor's degree relevant for this process in any way if I have a master's? We've talked about that. Great presentation. After getting the green card via a particular field, can one switch to another field or industry later?
I mean, there's no restriction now. You can only switch.
Okay. As a master's student with research works not yet published, can I apply by stating that publications are in view?
Yeah, I actually had some of my publications in under review when I applied to. So I put the ones that are published, and then I also talked about the ones that are under review. Yeah.
I think this person doesn't have anyone published yet.
Yeah, you can still argue. You just say, okay, these are the projects that I've done. You talk about their relevance to the United States, and you also talk about the fact that uh, uh, notable journals in the field are already, getting attention for your work for review. That is under review in these so and so journals. I mean, it's fine.
Okay. I had a master's of science before starting my PhD, but I planned to earn another master's after my candidacy exam. Can I apply after obtaining the master's?
Yeah, of course. I mean, once you have the law says you should have a master's. That's what the law says. Simple.
What if your school doesn't give you master's for a direct PhD?
Then you have to wait till you have an advanced degree. Or because basically what the law is saying is you need a master's or a bachelor's with 5 years of work experience. If you can't get that, then you have to wait to get your PhD. Unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
That's tough.
Yeah, I think that's the question a lot of people are asking, because this other question, I think 2 other questions. This one said, how did you go back to get a master's when you have studied a PhD? What if the school doesn't have such provisions? So that means said in his own case, he had to take classes from other departments to be able to get a master's. Why me, I said for me to get a master's, my department allows it once you've passed your PhD candidate exam. If you want a master's certificate, they'll give it to you. So if you don't have these options available, I think just like Dami said, you might have to wait until you graduate. With a master's from US and an international BS degree, do I have to evaluate the BS transcript?
No, you don't have to. I didn't evaluate mine because the law says that an advanced degree.
Yeah.
So once I had advanced degree in the US, that was enough. But if your master's was from Nigeria, then you have to evaluate.
Okay. What about someone without master's but still doing the PhD? If you have publications and have reasonable work experience but not up to 5 years, can you apply?
Of course, I follow the law to the letter, so I don't have any issue. I won't apply if I'm in that case because I don't have 5 years of work experience and I don't have a master's degree.
Can you remind us if, okay, someone said, can you remind us if the membership fee is per annum or month? Membership fee to answer. It's not per month, it's per annum. Great talk, Dami. Please, what was your timeline? Thanks.
Yeah, my timeline was just 6 months.
Okay.
To get the EB2 NIW approved.
Do you have a master's during your PhD, or because you're already on your way to getting your PhD and you apply directly? Please, can you explain more? I think we've talked a lot about this master's and PhD thing. Yeah. Great talk, Dami. I see you got this as a PhD candidate. I've got a bachelor's degree from Nigeria, and I'm about to start my third year in PhD chemistry in nanomaterials. I do not have a master's degree. Do I have to wait till I get my PhD before applying? Or how do I prove 5 years of experience? Yeah, I think this is the major question everyone is asking.
Yeah, we've really answered those questions.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Please, what is the name of your social media handle? Association, what is showing on the screen right now? Just go to Instagram, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, type what you see on the screen right now, Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. You're going to see us. You see the logo, which is this round thing showing here, please. Will there be a section for those in fields that make the H1B to EB2 route? Students in the MBA or business administration don't do research. Okay, so I guess this person suggesting we have another webinar for H1B. And I think we did this,
Yeah,
right?
we had
We've
that
done this,
already.
yeah.
Mhm.
So guys, this is why you need to become a member of ANSA and also follow us on our social media handles. Some time ago, we did this H1B webinar, and we have so many of these coming up. If we need to redo this, by all means we will do that in the coming year. So please make sure to register. We really want to build ANSA community as large as we can, so please make sure to register and become a member so we can all grow together. I want to apply for NIW while my family in Nigeria has appointment in April 2023. How can my application affect my traveling to Nigeria or my family coming to the US?
Of course, I know that this is just an F1 visa thing. Like even if you submit EB2 NIW, you are not changing status, all right? It's still F1. So I won't think that there will be any issue with your application. But if you are not clear on that, please speak to an attorney.
Okay. Thank you. I am in the last year of my postdoc and my STEM extension ends in 1 year. Can I still apply for this? I think so.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
not done it,
Sure.
but I definitely think you are more than qualified to
Yeah.
apply if you've gotten to the point of postdoc. Yes, please, you can apply. Can someone on F1 that has worked with SSN eligible to apply? I think probably OPT.
No,
Talk
I
to your
think
okay.
I think the person is
Yeah.
talking about maybe working outside with
Oh,
SSN.
why still in school?
Yeah, so I've answered that
Yeah.
already. I might not be
Yes.
able to talk much on that, but I know that
Yeah.
once you have an F1 visa that is still valid, yes, why not? Go for it. But if you are not clear or if you are still in doubt, please speak to an attorney.
Okay. Can I apply even after my study program? I think the answer is yes. Okay, I still have a lot of questions are coming in more. Okay, we have a couple of minutes before 12:30 Eastern time, which is when we'll be ending this meeting. Dami, I know you're doing well. Please, let's keep going. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I said, can you share the link to the recording? Okay, please check our YouTube channel, Association of Nigerian Scholars in America. You will see all the webinars that we've done. We usually share them on YouTube after the live section. So please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and you see those videos. You not only see H1B, you also see things about applying, and those ones are like very important for potential students. I have a master's in economics from Nigeria with over 6 years work experience in the field, but currently doing another master's in the US. Can I apply, please? Yes. Hi, David. Oh, currently doing? No. David, please answer.
So this person already has a master's in Nigeria, all right?
Yeah.
So you should go for it. All he needs to do is to just evaluate that degree and go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me think I have the right to answer some of these questions.
You do, Jen.
I don't have experience. Hi, Dami. Can I use my master's degree thesis as part of my proposed endeavor?
Yeah, of course. Anything you can use to show that you have a good track record and you are on a track to advance your proposed endeavor. Why not?
Can I apply during my OPT as a master's degree holder?
Yes. Once you have a master's, that's what the law says. No matter where you are or what circumstance you're facing.
Is it compulsory to apply for change of status immediately after getting NIW approved?
Of course, that's what you want to do, right? You want to change your status. So I'm not sure why we want to see delay again, but I get that there are some times that there might be circumstance here and there. So you can still wait for a while before doing the adjustment of status. But for me, immediately I got I-140 approved. The next thing is adjustment of status. Yeah.
Okay. I am a current master's student. I have 10 years relevant work experience in supply chain management, working for an American IOC when I was in Nigeria. When I was in Nigeria, I have no research or article done. Do you think this is the right time for me to apply, or I should wait till I'm done with my master's? Also, how many references do you think I need? Can you recommend a legal advice that could help me through this process?
Yeah, I think you have what it takes right now. But if you feel that you still want to get more, maybe after your master's, why not? But since you don't have a publication, you can argue strongly with the projects you've done. I mean, the high level projects you've done in the space of uh, your work in the space of your work period. So you can do that. What else did you talk about?
Can you recommend a legal advice that could help
Is it
me through
lawyer?
this process? I guess that's what
Lawyer?
he meant.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the useful resources I shared considered all that. So you can look at Chen immigration, you can look at Jean Domansky, you can look at Assured Law. Yeah, there are a couple of them out there. You can look at Colombo and Hodds. I think they are in Florida. So all these folks are immigration lawyers, immigration attorneys. They'll be
Okay.
able to help your case. Yeah.
So someone asked, I think this person probably joined late because the person is asking if they must fight through an attorney or they can apply on their own. So you have the two options. You can decide to do it on your own, or you can decide to use an attorney. Dami talked about that. And like I said earlier, I'm going to share this video on our social media platforms. So please go subscribe, follow us so that you, once we post it, you'll be able to rewatch it, especially for those that joined late or for those that didn't take enough note and you need to rewatch what Dami just shared with us. Hi, Dami. How many citations and publications did you have in your profile at the time you applied?
Yeah, so when I applied, I had 3 papers published, 2 under review, and I think I had maybe 3 citations then. So I was also concerned that my citation might be a challenge. But then I'm like, damn citation, I'm going to go for it. I will amplify my area of strength and silence, the area of weakness. Yeah.
Someone said, um, hi, can I help throw more light on application from Nigeria or anywhere outside US? I got my green card through this route. That's an interesting one. The person's name is Shegun. Okay, Shegun, if you want to do that, I don't think we have enough time for that. If you want to, we could make that. Tell me, what do you think? Can we make that like a different event?
Yeah, I think that would really be good. I was thinking about it. So possibly we can do for those that are outside the country,
Yeah.
and then we also maybe focus a little bit on adjustment of status too. Those two.
All right, Shego. Okay, we really appreciate you wanting
Please
to share this
can
information.
Shegun give
Can
us
you
his
please
details?
contact? Yeah, can you please give us your detail, or I just shared our social media handles in the chat box right now. Shegun, if you can follow us, or maybe if you don't want to drop your detail here, you can just follow us and reach out to us, and we will arrange this. We really like to have someone like you as part of our members too. So please reach out to us, and we can make this happen. So somebody's asking which year did you get your application done, Damien? I think it's this year, right? Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. Okay, so while more questions are going on, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to show something. Official.org. Okay, so back to Zoom, share screen. All right, guys, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. I can.
So guys, for those of you that have been asking how can you join, where, how do you connect? So this is the answer website, is www.answerofficial.org. So just click there. You can take your time, go through our website, look at why you should join us. You look at some of the testimonial from the people that we've given scholarships in the past, last year, this year. Like I said earlier, this organization started 2020, and we're just 2 years down the line, and we've been able to accomplish quite a lot. So if you can just take your time, go through, these are like some of the founding, these are the founding members, all Nigerians who are who are and who were graduate students here in the US. We have a lot of resources available. We have career networking, we have resources for prospective students, we have mentorship program where you can request to be a mentor. We have stuff for current students. Once in a while, we do like social events where we come together to just relax and get to know each other. You can become a member, go through a member. If you are very generous, or you know someone who is very generous who would like to donate to ANSA. ANSA is a non-profit organization, and we is a registered non-profit organization here in the US, and we try to source funds from donations that we use to sponsor all these events. If you're very generous, or you know someone who is generous who would like to donate to ANSA, please kindly use the donate button here on ANSA website. You can check our blog. We can check our blog. We have different blog posts. This was about the event we just hosted. This was when we announced the fellowship that was just currently concluded, and like the president said at the beginning of this event, a lot of people were awarded the scholarship, and very soon we will have the post and the details of those awarded out. We've done, I think this was when we did something about the H1B for those that ask. You can check it out here. We've done fellowship last year. There's so many things that we've been doing over the past 2 years that and this was also a very interesting event that we did, translating academic research into industrial process, where we invited this amazing professor Ndubisi. He took his time to tell us how to monetize your research and things like that. So just take your time to go through, familiarize yourself with the ANSA website, and please become a member of ANSA. We really appreciate that. All right, I just want to show that. So I don't know if we have any more questions. People are still joining. Nigerians, how are you joining an 11 a.m. event by 12:23? Okay, I'll just check if we have 7 minutes. Ayo, Dami, I don't know if you have anything to add before we end this event. But before you say anything, someone just said I have 600 citations. Jesus. I have 600 citations and about 50 publications. 20 in the area of renewable energy with a master's degree in chemistry. And I'm currently doing my PhD in the US, just my first year, with 9 years of working experience in academic. Oh,
please go for it. You should have a green card.
Okay.
Go for it. I mean,
okay.
That's a very strong. That's a very strong profile.
So I just heard that Shegu is a doctor. Apologies, sir. Dr. Shegu, okay. Please accept my apologies. Okay, I'm going to unmute Ayo. Ayo, you can speak now.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Dami. This is really wonderful. I'm sure the community is really enjoying the talk on this topic. Just wanted to clarify briefly, somebody asked about the H1B route to EB2. I think the webinar we had is just on H1B, how to get H1B.
Yes.
And I believe to get H1B, you need your either bachelor's or master's degree. So once you get H1B, every other thing that Dami said applies to you, right? So whatever Dami said applies to you once you get H1B. But just know that for you to get an H1B, you need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree for an H1B. Okay. So every other information regarding that, you will see in the recording for that particular presentation on YouTube. So just wanted to clarify that part.
Okay, thank you so much. So just to say this once again, guys, this recording is going to be shared on our social media platforms, not WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
LinkedIn.
Facebook, LinkedIn. Thank you very much. LinkedIn. How could I forget LinkedIn? LinkedIn and all of them. So please make sure to go check them out and share with your friends who were not able to attend the event. All right, guys. I think we've answered all the questions, and Dami have done a really great job sharing this wonderful information with us. I personally have benefited a lot, and I'm sure we all did. And yeah, I don't know if we have anything else to say. Dami, do you have anything to ask as we close
Yeah,
the
I just
event?
want to say thank you to everyone for joining this webinar. What I just would like to add is that, time is counting. I mean, if you know what you need to do, I mean, just act, because the time is counting. If you want to apply now, apply. If you feel that, oh, you're not there yet, whatever you need to do, I mean, start doing them. Maybe publishing. I must tell you that this thing, I started working on it since 2 years ago. I mean, that was what made me go do a lot of coursework in another department to get a master's, because it was on my mind. And I was doing everything, I mean, intentionally to get it approved this year. So the time is counting. I mean, whatever I need to do, start doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Dami, for that. Whatever we need to do, start doing it now together to make your portfolio stronger. Thank you very much, Dami. And thank you
Yeah.
all so
Then
much.
Jane,
Okay.
I want to say one thing. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people might want to bombard me with a lot of
Exactly.
questions.
Yeah.
I sincerely, I don't really have so much time. I mean, I don't really have so much time. I
I
don't
was
know. Maybe
surprised when
people
I
will
saw
start
your
paying for my
details.
time. I mean, maybe people will start paying for my time. Who knows? Yeah.
Dami, I was shocked when I saw your contact details on the slide. I'm like, is it that you're not aware of what is about to happen?
Yeah, I like to, show that because someone actually gave me that feedback. I already gave a presentation on this EB2 somewhere else, and
Okay.
they're like, why didn't you put your profile? Why didn't you put your contact
Oh,
details
okay.
there? So we never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like as you guys know, Dami is still a student. I'm pretty sure he will gladly respond, but if he doesn't respond immediately, you send it, please bear with him. As he said earlier, he's not an immigration lawyer. This is not his job. He's just a student. He's still a student and also one of the founding members of ANSA. He's just doing this to help. So if you contact him and he takes a while to respond, please just bear with him. He's not being paid. He's not part of ANSA's duty for him to respond. So it's a personal thing. Okay, thank you so much, Dami. Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, everyone who worked together to make this event a success. And thank you to everyone who joined. I'm really hoping that by the end of this event, we'll see a lot of people becoming members of ANSA. Let's build this community. Let's help each other grow in this country that we are all in or we are all planning to come to. All right, I think this is going to be the end of the event, and we will see you all the next time we have another event. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Association of Nigerian Scholars in America, ANSA. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. Thanks, everyone.